Hi, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, a very warm welcome. My name is Sophie, and in today's video I'm going to show you all of the books that I hauled in March. So it's going to be a little bit more of a mini haul compared to last month's, as I did haul a lot less books in March than I did in February, which is actually a very good thing, as there were quite a lot of books that came into the library in February. So for March, I just have this stack here of around 7 books, which I'm going to show you. So first, I'm going to start with the books that I hauled because of the Women's Prize for Fiction. So if you are interested to see which books have been longlisted for this year's Women's Prize for Fiction, I have done a whole video on that and I will link it so you can check that out. So I really got these ones as these appealed to me most from the list. So up first is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy, and I think this is very much inspired by climate change, and I think it is also some kind of thriller. It feels a little bit dystopic, but it's about a family who live on an island, and one day a strange woman washes ashore and she is not entirely truthful about why she is there. But then there is also a storm which is gathering force, and the woman, Rowan, she discovers sabotage radios and a recently dug grave. And it seems that she is not the only one on the island who is hiding something. And this just sounds really interesting to me. And yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. Then next I have A Beast Slinks Towards Beijing by Alice Evelyn Yang. And this one sounded really interesting to me. I believe it is kind of magical realism. It also has a lot of folklore, but I think is also inspired by historical events. So it's described as a dark folkloric family saga that moves through history to the present day, exploring the legacy of colonialism and how pain echoes through generations. So it does follow the main character Qianzi, and she hasn't seen her father in 11 years since he walked out of their life on the night of her 14th birthday. Then she gets a call from someone who says a man has appeared on their porch and he is asking for her. And the man is not the same father that she remembers. He is haunted by a prophecy. He's also aged beyond recognition. He is struggling with dementia and alcoholism. And Qianzi wrestles with what she owes her father, and it then explores the colonial past, and her father unveils fragments of their family history, from his bloody days as a Red Guard during the Cultural Revolution to his mother's youth in Manchuria under Japanese occupation. And then Qianzi ends up plagued by visions, and fox spirits trail her on her evening commute, and a terrifying jackalope stalks her nightmares, and the looming prophecy slinks ever closer. And yeah, this sounds really interesting. I love mythology and folklore, and I do also love hearing about different cultures. And I am quite excited by the spooky horror elements in this book. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And then the last book I got because of the Women's Prize is The Others by Sheena Kalayil. And this is set in 1989 East Germany. And it follows 3 young people from vastly different backgrounds who become friends. So Armando is a factory worker from Mozambique, Lolita is a medical student from India, and Theo is an East Berliner who dreams of being a writer. And then these 3 find themselves caught up in the politics of Theo's homeland more than ever before. And while a quiet revolution sweeps through Eastern Europe and the Berlin Wall teeters, the 3 find themselves entangled in a poignant love triangle which threatens their futures. So yeah, I am really interested in German history, as I did study German at university. So this one sounds really interesting to me. Then I have a couple of mythology retellings. So first I have Hecate by Nikita Gill, and yes, you are right, I do already own this. I have already read it, and it was one of my favourite books of last year. But as I loved it so much, I wanted to also pick up the paperback, and this is also a beautiful sprayed edge edition. And yeah, I just wanted to own this to have it on my shelf. But I did also go to an event last week when Nikita Gill was speaking, and she did sign my book as well. So I have this signed and personalised as well as the hardback. So this retells the story of Hecate, who is the goddess of necromancy and witchcraft, and she lives in the underworld. And this is actually a verse retelling, so it is told entirely in poetry. And I didn't realise this when I first picked up this book, but I thought it was brilliant and I loved it. And I was a bit skeptical whether I would like a full verse retelling, and I really did. It was beautifully written. So this kind of gives us the background of Hecate and how she came to be in the underworld, and then we also see her exploring the underworld, and I love it. And there is also going to be 2 more books in this series, so the next one is coming in September, and that's going to be following Styx. So I will definitely be picking that up when it comes out. And then I have another Greek mythology retelling. This is Sweet Bitter Song by Rosie Hewlett. So the event that I mentioned with Nikita Gill was actually to celebrate the release of Rosie Hewlett's new book, Sweet Bitter Song. And she was talking about her book and Nikita Gill was chairing the conversation. So the two had a really good conversation about the inspirations for this book and wider Greek mythology, and I really loved it. But this is such a beautiful edition. I think this has to be one of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. And we have this beautiful column on the sprayed edge. And I am so excited to read this. So this doesn't really follow any gods or goddesses, but this follows the story of Melantho, who was a slave. And I think she is one of the handmaidens who are mentioned in the Odyssey. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot about her in that. But Rosie Hewlett gives a voice to Melantho as a slave and also implies a relationship between her and Penelope. So I think there's also going to be a lot about Penelope in here. So I think it's going to probably take place during the Trojan War when Odysseus is gone to battle and finding it very difficult to make it home. And I did also get to meet Rosie Hewlett, and I got my book signed and personalised. So I have already started this. I've got a few chapters in and I'm already really enjoying it. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and I am so happy that I finally have my hands on this book. So next I have Secrets of Blackthorn Hall by Cassandra Clare, and this is in the Shadowhunters universe. So this is an illustrated Shadowhunters novel. So it has some beautiful illustrations in the front cover, and then I believe there are a lot more illustrations throughout, yeah. So I can't actually read this one yet because I haven't read the Dark Artifices series, and I think it's going to feature a lot of characters from that trilogy. So I will have to wait until I've read the rest of the Shadowhunters novels, but I wanted to get this so I have it ready. But I will probably do a full reread of the Shadowhunters universe in time for the final series in this universe that comes out later in the year. And then I have a really exciting book, and this is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab. And yes, I do have this book. I have already read it this year, but this is the Illumicrate edition, and I'm so happy I had this. I missed out on picking this up when it was first released because I was trying to be good, trying not to get multiple copies of books that I hadn't read yet. So yeah, I thought that it would be a good idea for me to read it and then decide if I liked it or not. And that was really a big mistake because I started seeing people receive this book and unbox it, and I just thought it was stunning. And I was really annoyed with myself that I hadn't pre-ordered it. Then when I went to Yalk at the end of last year, Illumicrate was selling a small amount of Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil each day. So I got to their stall early in the morning on each day, but they had run out by the time I'd got to the front of the queue. So then I thought, I'm never going to get this. I saw it on Vinted. It was about £75 to £100. I'm not going to pay that for a special edition. So I thought, okay, it's fine. I've got the very late edition. It's okay. I don't need it. And then Illumicrate announced their Vault sale, which happened a few weeks ago, and I managed to get my hands on this one. So I'm really happy about that. So I will show you this beautiful book. So it's in a slipcase. So this is the beautiful slipcase. It's the same on the back as well. And then we have the title down the side there. And then this is the naked hardcover. She is absolutely stunning. I am so pleased that I managed to get this. And then on the back, it has the most famous quote from the book, which is, "Bury my bones in the midnight soil, plant them shallow and water them deep. And in my place will grow a feral rose, soft red petals hiding sharp white teeth." And yeah, this is beautiful. And then we also have some beautiful sprayed edges. And then here is the artwork. And then it's different in the back. And yeah, I'm so pleased I managed to get this, because although it wasn't a 5-star read, I did really enjoy this book. So yeah, I'm happy to have the Illumicrate edition as well. So that's all of the books that I did haul in March. And I'm actually glad that I hauled a lot less, because I have been struggling to read recently and my TBR pile is just consistently growing bigger and bigger. And I'm glad to be adding just a little bit less to the TBR. And in this haul, I've already read 2 of the books and I've already started the 3rd book. So there will only really be 4 books that will end up on the TBR. So do also leave me a comment and let me know if any of these books have piqued your interest. Thank you for watching. Please do like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more of my content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.